talk about what we're working on, works in progress.
That
Um, yeah, and just kind of, hype each other up. Come on, what you doing? What you working on?
Well, one thing I realized, okay, so I'm finishing. I'll go first. I'm
Okay.
finishing up the My Identity anthology. So not at like doing the layout and the design
Okay.
of the anthology, and it's kind of exciting to me. I'm really like I think that I used to do a weekly newsletter for the Black Writers Group, and so I kind of miss a outlet for our writing that's not like this is a published book. So I'm
Mhm.
working on that, and I'm excited for it to be available. It's Black Month someplace. It's Black History Present Future Month someplace. So let's talk about our identity as Black folks and read some other people's thoughts and ideas about that.
Okay.
And that's what I've actively been working on. The three projects that are very close to being out in the world fiction are 365 Dates, Love Soiree, which is part of the Love by Tamu Tamu agency
Wait, what
series.
what is that called?
Love Soiree. That's the Kendra and Bennett
Love
story. It's Love
Soiree. Okay.
Soiree.
Okay.
And then 365 Dates and Kwanzaa Clause. 365 Dates and Love Soiree are pretty close. But one thing that I want to loop back to is that I have the nonfiction series called Affirming Self Love, which is affirmations, 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 and some short essays, some graphics. So it's a whole series of short
Right.
books with a lot of different affirmations that's out there. It's nonfiction, and you can get it on Amazon. And they're great. They're wonderful. They're
Yes, they're
beautiful.
very cute. They're very
Yeah.
graphic design, graphic heavy, I
Right.
should
I call
say.
them graphic nonfiction, but I
Right.
think that people might think it's graphic like F you, MFA, but not that kind of graphic, or not graphic like I'm going to show
It's
my boobies.
it's visually graphic.
Graphic
It's
design, yeah.
stunningly graphic with color and boldness and vibrance. There you go. That
See,
kind of graphic.
graphic novel, it works, but if I say
Right.
graphic nonfiction, I don't think you know what I'm talking about. So that's out there. That's available now in digital format on Amazon. And Angela, I'll have to look if it's Angela Rasulullah Riley, but we could probably put the link somewhere. And then so 365 Dates, which is on Kindle Vella now, and the Love by Tamu Tamu agency is the part that's going to become Love Soiree. So that's on Kindle Vella now. So those are available for reading and exploring and commenting on right now. What about you?
I want to before I talk about what I'm working on, I want to tell people about Angela's story on Kindle Vella 365 dates. That had me in a chokehold for a while because I love the idea. So after her first divorce, what she mentioned a little earlier, she finally got to the place where she wanted to date and decided that she was going to just go on all of these dates. And I was like, that's courageous because I don't know if I would have been ready for that. But two, I mean, the story fictionalizes it more, but it's she was going to go on 365 dates in a year, and it's so good. I love that idea. It was just so creative to me, and it's funny. Like the dates, y'all need to check it out. 365 dates. That's one of my favorites. But love by Tamu Tamu Agency, Kendra and Bennett. That love story. Yes. So yes, Angela is the relationship writer. You need to check out her stuff. I'm when I first decided I was gonna write Love at Second Sight, I talked to her a lot because I didn't know anything about this. I'm not even going to say romance genre because that's not even what it is. But just writing about love and relationships and everything. I just never thought, well, relationships, yes, because any story you write is going to have relationships in it. But the whole love piece, it was a surprise to me that I wrote a story that involve that. So that's when I went on my Beverly Jenkins rabbit hole and some other things, trying to see how people wrote romance, even though mine is more of a love story, or it doesn't just focus on the couple. My works in progress. So, well, let me back up. I have Love at Second Sight, which is my debut novel, which came out on Black Love Day, which is February 13th this year. Um, and I have 4 poetry books that just published earlier this month, and they each have a different theme. They all have to do with family, love, relationships, uh, women, self love, but each book kind of has a different personality, if you will. I'm working on another poetry book. I'm working on a spinoff because one of the popular characters that a lot of readers have asked me about, Mike, yes, from Love at Second Sight. People really love Mike, so it's a spinoff um, from Mike's point of view that I'm working on. Um, Also, I have a YA novel which is set in Costa Rica. I haven't worked on that in a while, but that one is based on that one is historical fiction, but it's a YA novel set in Costa Rica called Bluff. And I have another kind of cute, humorous, but on a serious matter, which is the Calor Chronicles, which is a little small book of humorous vignettes about my journey in this perimenopause world and going into menopause, because it's something that we don't talk about a lot. We don't get a lot of information about from the women in our family, and I want to start, you know, putting it out there. Like, why are we not talking about this? Because I it's so much stuff I didn't know, and so much stuff I'm still learning, like how it impacts everything. I knew about hot flashes, but that's like the tip of the iceberg. I'm like, this is some bullshit. I gotta write something about this. So, and I just started recently following this woman on IG. I can't think it. I think her handle is I am Rosick or something like that. And I found her by following an author that I like, Deneen Milner. But all her posts, she's documenting her journey. I think she's about 58, 56, somewhere in there, but she's documenting her journey through menopause. And she also is into fitness as well and trying to stay healthy. But she is hilarious. Oh my goodness. She is hilarious. And so I watch her because sometimes I need a little something. I'm gonna send her a copy of the book once it's done, because this thing is serious. And I'm still.
Oh, your mother's story, the civil rights
Yes,
piece,
right.
March
So
on
I have a
Washington.
short story that I started some time ago that I think I want to um, turn into a novel or extend into a novel at some point, and that's my mother's story. The short story that I have right now is of her experience as a 16-year-old when she went with her father and her aunt to the March on Washington. And that's what the short story is about. But I want that to be the beginning of her story. So I have a lot of research to do on that, and pinning her down to do some more interviews, because even I did a short interview with her for that story, and that took forever to get her to sit down and talk to me. So I yeah, that's out. That is on the back burner. It's on the list. But one thing I want to talk about, and I want us to do a future topic about it. We need to feel like we need to find a guest that has more experience with it. But this self-publishing journey, and um and once it's published, the marketing and book promotion is no joke. And so a lot of my time has gone to book promotion. And so trying to still write and promote a book is not easy. I don't like it. I just want to go write. I just want to say, look, I wrote this book. It's good. Can you go buy it? Damn. That's what I want to say.
Wrote this book. It's good. Could you go buy it? Don't they be short content pieces?
Because I mean, seriously. And sometimes I think about it, I'm like, there are probably so many other authors out there who are great writers, who have written these great stories that we don't know about, because trying to get it out trying to let people know it exists is a feat in and of itself. Like, how do you do that when you don't have some big budget or marketing machine behind you? How do you get in front of people? Because for me, I can't speak for other people, but for me, it's not even about the sales and the dollars. It's about, I want people to read this book. I want people to hear this story, because I think people will really enjoy it. But I literally, sometimes I get frustrated because I don't know how to go about doing it. Now I'm starting to do podcasts, which I think will help, other podcasts, which I think will help. And I think our podcast will help too once it's launched, and look, and we start promoting that. Um, right,
And if nobody knows it's out
right, right. Once we start promoting it and people start watching it, then, that's another way that people will know about us as writers and may like what we have to say and go out and start looking at our stuff. But, it's all linked, it's all related. So I got to find a guest for us, or maybe more than one guest, that can really talk self-publishing and marketing. I want some people that have been at it for some time and marketing for some time and have had success, so that they can talk about some of the things they did and some of the things that they wish they had known going in, and some of the things that we can share with our listeners who are also writers, that can help them avoid some pitfalls, or just things that you wish you knew when you started, that can really help you. Because I'm telling you, I find stuff all the time like, oh, I should have been doing that all along. Okay, let me add that to the list. So I really want to uh find some people that are willing to talk about that.
some thoughts about that, Ayoka. I feel
Okay.
like every time we talk to somebody, it should be like, how do you market? What's worked? What hasn't
Okay.
worked? Because when we started the Black Writers Group, that was one of the conversations. And I don't know if you remember, we used to have a segment every week on marketing.
Yeah.
But we kind of fell off. But I kind of feel like it's an ongoing conversation, and it's bits and pieces. Like that author, I was just about to look up whatever book I'm reading, where I told you I came across an author who wrote a writing book that I came across on Hoopla, because it was a Black writer. And he was like, I write, if I have 2 minutes, I can write 800 words. When I take a break at work and I have 15 minutes, I write 20,000 words. And he's like really like intense. And I came across him on YouTube, and it's probably like a 4-year-old video. And he mentioned one of his books, which was about food and nutrition, and a fictionalized account of healthy food versus processed food, kind of. And so I ended up reading that book. But it kind of occurred to me, just in terms of things being out there and from a marketing perspective. Now, I don't know how many sales he has got from that video, but I think that because it's out there, if I hadn't seen that video, I definitely wouldn't have bought it. But I went and bought it and am almost finished reading it because I saw that old YouTube video.
Okay.
So I kind of think that it's different. Like, I think that as we have more things out there, I think like when you're on a podcast, maybe one person buys it or hears about it who heard about it before, and then the next time they hear it, they'll buy it. I think it's little things
It's
that build.
cumulative, right?
It's
Right.
cumulative. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And even the
Agreed.
big marketers, they like somebody got to hear something 26 times before they notice it, and then 50 times before they buy it or whatever.
Right.
But we don't have like it's hard for us to get that many impressions. Those numbers are wrong, but it's hard for us to
Right.
get a lot of impressions to get through to somebody to, give us a chance. And I actually don't think that it's limited to independent publishers, although I think it's a little more challenging. But I think just like in music, now the big companies are looking for people who have already built a following, who are already marketing themselves effectively before they bring them on board. And I think that even like, when you're with traditional publishers, the impression that I've gotten from what I've heard is that from the outside looking in, you think, oh, they have a whole team and they get all this marketing and all, but that a lot of it, from what I've heard, there's a lot of responsibility that's still on the author.
I agree, especially for Black authors. So that's
Yeah.
agreed. I think with music is a little different. I think that with music, they were always greedy, but they've gotten lazy and they are up against the music industry has changed so much. People can put their shit out on their own and don't need a label and can get all these followers. That's why I think they're doing it that way. Because they don't have, with technology now, they don't have the control about when somebody hears music now. People can put their music out without any of that, and has the ability to get to millions of people. Yes, you get into that marketing thing again, but it can go viral so much easier, where once upon a time a music label was the only way, having a recording contract was the only way that your music got to the masses, and now people can do it on their
It's
own.
similar with writing. It's some differences, but there used to be like mainstream publishing houses, and like self-publishing was like really, really niche and weird and small.
Right.
And where now anybody can put something out and get a following, and I think a lot of these traditional publishing houses are looking for people who have shown that they can get readers. Even the non-traditional, like I think there are maybe a big five, but even these other ones that bring people onto their label, they're looking for people, a lot of them who already have something going on. Like, so I feel like, but whether I'm right or not, but I feel like as authors, no matter who you with, you got to be with you and publish your stuff. I mean, push your stuff and promote your stuff and figure out how to find your people.
Right. Right. And I just mean that I think I want us to share that information more. I know I'm definitely willing to share the things that I've learned, but I'm still new to the journey. I'm sure there are people who know a lot more and could give a lot more tips and make sure, this checklist before you publish it. Make sure you've done this, 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 and this. And there are things that I've just kind of stumbled on.
Work for you.
Right. Well, I mean, just things that I didn't even know existed or that I should even be thinking about, like Black author directories of people that offer them, that are Black book clubs or have Black content creators or have some kind of presence online. Some of them have author directories. I wouldn't have thought of that. I stumbled across something one time, so I I put myself on it, but there are all these opportunities out there like that you just don't know. All these online independent bookstores that you can reach out to and ask them to put your book into inventory, places that are looking for new books to, review or to have as the book club book or whatever. I mean, it's just so many things out there that I just didn't know or wouldn't have thought, that I'm just finding now, that I just think we need to start collecting this knowledge and sharing it with each other so that the next person can be a little more ahead of the game than we were when we did it.
Yeah. I feel like I keep hearing people say before, like, I'm at the stage where I don't have any fiction published like that. And they say before you publish, you should already be marketing. And I'm kind of like, what should I be doing now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like I need to finish the book before I can start pumping it up, but.
Right. Because the only thing I had done before I started marketing was, before I published the book, I had the IG,
Pre-or
um, I had the IG account, and I had been, promoting there since, I guess I started that in like September, and the book published in February. Um, I didn't start TikTok until after the fact, and I had it on my website, but I really hadn't, in terms of marketing, I really hadn't done it. Like, I'm starting to think I'm switching gears now. I'm hearing about people having art teams and street teams and pre-orders, and so I'm like, I'm gonna do some of this for Mike's story. I gotta figure out, but I know how to get an art team. The street team, I gotta figure that out. So yeah, I still gotta talk to some people to know how some of this stuff. And the pre-orders, everyone I've asked, well, I haven't asked that many people, but pre-orders I've heard only from Amazon, but there must be some other way to do it. So
It's noble, but maybe not. We're late. I feel like we got some tips for today. Like,
okay.
what did you say? The author. What did you say for book clubs to go and look for a Black author list? What did you call it? The
Oh, like
author
the Black Author Directory.
directory. I've never
Right.
heard of that.
Right. There are some
So
people who have it, who have them. I'm like, okay, I can add myself to it.
so that's a tip. Find out about Black author directories and get on them.
Hmm. And getting a ARC team, an advanced readers copy team. So a team of people, as you're coming up to publishing your book, reach out to people who follow you on any of your channels or friends or whomever, and get and ask them to be on your ARC team. And so they read it before you publish it, or it can be right as you're publishing it. And then you task them with certain things, with them
Mm.
promoting it, on their platforms and da 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 da.
Mm.
I wish I had done some of that.
We had beta readers for Melanin and Rasulullah, Ohio, but we didn't task them with anything except for giving us feedback. So it
Yeah,
seems
see
like
that
those
an
beta
ARC
readers could
team
have been an
does
ARC team.
more than just give feedback.
Mm, mm, mm.
It can really help
Okay,
with the marketing. That's what the street team is too.
okay, okay. So it's good if you can get people to market for you and get them to get them excited enough to. Because it seemed like for some people it's a challenge just getting people to read the book, let alone to read it and market it.
Right,
Some
because
people it's
that
a challenge getting them to write a review, let alone write a review
you're
and
right. You're right. That's why when you ask people to be on your art team, there's certain types of people that are going to respond.
Mm-hmm.
So you just put the invitation out there versus saying, I want you to be on my art team, because you need a certain type of person that is really going to be really excited about it and going to go out there and do the work. I have people that I know have purchased my book, people that I personally know that it's on their shelf. They haven't read it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
come on.
Mm-hmm.
So forget a review. You can't write a review if you haven't read the book, Angie.
Right. I read the book. What you talking about?
No, I'm saying you
Whoever.
general, yeah.
When we were in Ohio, we had Rasulullah, Ohio. That's my husband's last book that he just published. We had gotten copies.
Mm-hmm.
And his brother, we had some on the table, and his brother picked it up. And he's like, "You wrote this?" And bought a copy. But this is his fourth book. And it's like, somehow, I don't know, it just registered that, like, there's a book, but it's not like new. So it's like some people they gonna, like, when Tananarive Due, I had I can't remember what the name of her book. The book was the first one in the African Immortal series. I had that one on my shelf for about 5 years before I read it, and that's just the truth. I bought it because it said she's the new Tananarive Due, and then I looked at the cover with all those bees, and I'm like, and I read the back, and it just did not look appealing to me at all. And so but when I read it, now I'm like, oh, I love it. You should read it.
Well, what made you buy it?
I bought it because it said she.
Oh,
is
she was the new.
I mean, not
Octavia
Butler.
Butler. Okay.
And then I'm looking at it. I'm like, this look like some horror stuff, and I am not into horror. This don't look. I don't. Mm-mm. So some of those people who have your book on, it's layers, and
Right.
different things develop at different times. So they probably gonna hear, some of them are probably gonna hear somebody talking about you in 5 years. Oh, me, and then they gonna read the book. Like, it's layers. It's some people who gonna get it and read it. It's some people who, it's layers. It's like cooking. We just keep pushing.
I gotta keep keeping on. Yeah. Okay. So join us next time for Writing While Black.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.
Keep writing.
You want to do that so bad.